Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, our group will presenting about media analysis on psychological disorder in movie, which is Girl Interrupt. So these are our team members, and we are from Group 11. Before we begin, we like to show a short video clip from the movie.
That's not fair. That is not fair. That is not fair. 74 is the perfect weight.
I'm the first presenter. We talk about the introduction and the summary. Now let's take a look at the summary of Girl Interrupt. Girl Interrupt is a gripping psychological drama based on Susannah Kaysen memoir. The story follows 18-year-old Susannah, who is admitted to a psychiatric hospital in the late 1916 after a suicide attempt. There, she's diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and meets a group of young women struggling with different mental health issues. Among them is Lisa, a rebellious sociopath, Polly, who has schizophrenia and severe burns, Daisy, who has an eating disorder, and Janet, a withdrawn patient battling anorexia nervosa. As Susannah bonds with this woman, she begins to question what it really means to be sane, and through reflection, therapy, and writing, she slowly finds her way toward healing. Now, let's focus on anorexia nervosa. What is anorexia nervosa? Anorexia nervosa is a serious eating disorder where individuals severely restrict food intake due to a deep fear of gaining weight. Even when underweight, they often see themselves as overweight. This distorted self-image leads to dangerous behavior like starvation, purging, or over-exercising.
In Girl Interrupted, Janet clearly displays symptoms of anorexia nervosa as defined in the DSM-5-TR. She appears severely underweight and consistently refuses food by showing obsessive control over what she eats. Her anxiety around meals and resistance to eating suggests an intense fear of gaining weight. Furthermore, her emotional detachment and lack of concern for her health reflect a distorted view of her body and the seriousness of her condition. According to the DSM-5-TR, biological factors such as genetic predisposition, serotonin imbalance, and the effects of starvation often play a role in anorexia nervosa. Janet's emotional numbness and physical decline align with this biological influence. In cognitive factors, the DSM highlights distorted body image, perfectionism, and obsessive thinking. Janet demonstrates these traits through her rigid routines, withdrawn behavior, and intense control over eating. In socio-cultural factors, the DSM recognizes societal pressures, especially around body ideals and emotional restraint. Janet reflects these issues when her internalization of thinness and the lack of support around her suggests a stigma that contributes to the severity of her disorder.
In Malaysia, awareness of anorexia is still low, and many don't realize how serious it can be. A real case from the Star magazine tells a story about a 17-year-old girl who became obsessed with her body image. She skipped meals, over-exercised, and her weight dropped below 40 kilograms. Her heart rate became dangerously slow, and she had to be hospitalized. This story shows how eating disorders are often missed or overlooked, as unhealthy weight loss is sometimes praised rather than seen as a warning sign. A study by Chua et al. In 2022 found that 0.8% of Malaysians had anorexia, 1.4% had bulimia, and 0.1% had binge eating disorder. Overall, about 58.5% adults had an eating disorder or were at high risk. The study also found that both men and women were equally affected, and Malays had higher rates than other ethnic groups. Challenges in Malaysian health system. In Malaysia, there are not many healthcare services that deal with eating disorder. There are no special clinics or national system to keep track of this problem. Mental health support is also limited, and not many doctors are trained to treat anorexia. Many people don't see it as a real illness because they think it is just a phase or not as something serious.
I am fourth presenter. I will talk about misconception and stereotypes. Misconception number 1. Treatment as punishment. For example, in the movie, nurses take Janet's clothes and tell her she must eat to get them back. Misconception number 2. Silence means no emotion. For example, Janet rarely speaks or expresses emotion throughout the movie. Misconception number 3. No recovery inside. For example, Janet's story shows no recovery journey, no therapy, no future. Stereotypes number 1 is the anorexic girl label. For example, Janet's only known trait is her anorexia, no hobbies, history, or voice. Stereotypes number 2 is emotionless and passive. In the movie, Janet's minimal expression and social withdrawal reinforce this. The last stereotype is hopeless passion in the background. In the movie, Janet remains in the background while others' characters grow or change.
My name is Shazlana and I'll be presenting recommendations and conclusion. So here are the 4 recommendations for media improvement. Let's look at the first one, which is addressing stigma. This includes scenes where characters encounter stigma, like being told, just eat more. Stigma around eating disorder is a major barrier to seeking help, so reducing public stigma and raising awareness are crucial first steps in media portrayals. Next, showing realistic recovery journeys. Recovery should be depicted as a gradual and non-linear process, as it was a journey and a process rather than a quick fix. This underscores the need to show hope, persistence, and gradual progress in any portrayal of recovery. Furthermore, highlighting multidisciplinary care teams, which portray collaboration among various professionals such as psychologists, psychiatrists, and nutritionists. This approach is widely recognized as the best practice. Lastly, depicting evidence-based treatment. Show therapeutic processes like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, family-based treatment, FBT, and nutritional counseling as component of anorexia treatment to spread awareness to society. These therapies shown to be effective across eating disorders. To conclude our presentation, Janet's case reflects restricting type of anorexia nervosa treated through nutrition, psychotherapy, and medical care. Recovery remains difficult, and in Malaysia, diagnosis is often delayed due to stigma and low awareness. Moving forward, early detection, public education, and expanding psychological services are key to improving outcomes. This is our reference, and that is all from us. Thank you.